My name is Joy Eguia, and it is good to be with all of you today. I want to begin by thanking the Courage to Be Kind Foundation for this opportunity to share about a topic close to my heart. And of course, maraming salamat sa inyong lahat for being here, for choosing to show up, and for generously sharing your time for this advocacy. Before I proceed, I would like to share a bit about myself. I have spent the past 12 years of my life as a lay missionary for our Catholic community. When I was about to graduate college, I heard a call to pursue something beyond the plans I had for myself. My plan back then was to become a medical doctor. Dahil ang pangarap ko ay kumita ng malaki someday at magkaroon ng secure na buhay. But in that point of my journey, I heard the Lord calling me to be a full-time lay missionary, to spend the prime years of my life serving Him and doing missions full-time through our community. Sabi ni Lord, Joy, kung gusto mong yumaman, ito ang tawag ko sa'yo. Mag-missionary ka. It was a long discernment process for me with a lot of bargaining, but I knew in my heart the calling was there. It didn't make sense, but the calling was constant. The calling was far from my plans, malayo sa expectations ng mga tao sa paligid ko, malayo sa kung paano dinedefine ng mundo ang isang path to success. It did not make sense, but the call was so loud and constant deep within. I knew I just had to jump and say yes. And to follow that path, I needed all the courage to be who I was meant to become. True enough, and because of God's grace, I was able to muster up all the courage I needed to take that leap of faith. And so, 12 years ago, nilet go ko yung long-time dream ko of being a medical doctor, surrendering everything to God's will, and pursued missionary work. And the rest was history. I can say that I have spent the best 12 years of my life serving God and others. It has completely transformed me and shaped me into the person I am today. I even met my husband in missionary work, and today we have been married for 5 years. Truly, having the courage to be me when I took this missionary path was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. Recently, I shifted my gear. The Lord called me somewhere else. I left full-time missionary work early this year as I have decided again to be courageous enough to be me and to take on a new leap of faith and to follow God's call. This is to focus on my marriage and to focus on building our future together with my husband. Right now, I am a freelance creative artist, an entrepreneur, and an aspiring psychologist. I am also a mental health advocate by heart, supporting this cause in any way possible I can. I believe that my mission to serve the Lord and to serve others continues even more, even in this new chapter of my life. They say, when you ask for courage, God will give you opportunities to be courageous. And I have experienced this in my own life in so many ways. And I am sure you have your own story to tell as well. And so today, we talk about courage. But more beautifully, we talk about the courage to be you. When you say courage, it means having the strength to face and withstand fear or difficulty. In Filipino, courage is lakas ng loob. May lakas ka ng loob harapin ang kahit anong takot at paghihirap sa buhay. Lakas ng loob. Alam natin ito. But why talk about having the courage to be you? Pagkakaroon ng lakas ng loob na maging sino ka talaga. Why? Because a lot of us are afraid to be our true selves. And so we walk through this session understanding this. Bakit tayo takot maging kung sino tayo? Why are we afraid to be who we truly are? You know, I was reflecting over this and I realized na itong takot na ito ay maaaring nanggagaling sa tatlong bagay. Una, we are afraid to admit our vulnerabilities. Takot tayong aminin ang ating kahinaan. We are afraid to show our weakness, the parts that are broken and fragile. We don't want the world seeing our weak parts. And so, tinatago natin ang side na to ng sarili natin na whether we like it or not, is part of who we truly are. Pangalawa, we are afraid to face our insecurities. We are afraid to look at our own selves in the mirror because when we do, we see our lack, our imperfections. Takot tayong harapin ang ating insecurities. We see the lives of others and we see how far we have missed out. Ang nakikita lang natin is that we are so far behind. And so we feel unworthy, we feel unimportant, kaya takot tayong harapin ito. Thirdly, we are afraid of life's uncertainties. Takot tayo kapag walang katiyakan ang buhay. When we look at our lives, we see so much uncertainty. Mga tanong na hindi masagot, mga dasal na wala pang kasagutan, maraming bagay ang hindi tayo sure. We keep telling ourselves, I'm not sure what they will say, I'm not sure what they will think of me when I become my true self, I'm not sure if I can make it, I'm not sure if I can do it. Dahil dito, we choose not to show up anymore, settling to be where we are. We lack the courage to be ourselves, and so we lack the courage to show up. 3 things: vulnerability, insecurity, uncertainty. These 3 things that are ever present in our life are the reasons bakit we don't have the courage to be ourselves. Dahil natatakot tayong harapin ng mga bagay na ito, nawawalan tayo ng lakas ng loob na maging kung sino talaga tayo. But today in this session, we are reminded to embrace who we are, to embrace ourselves in its full form, including our vulnerabilities, insecurities, and uncertainties. Yes, we are strong in the outside, but we are also called to be humble enough to embrace these areas of ourselves. So what can we do? Let's embrace who we are. But how do you do this? First step is to go back to who you truly are. Sino ka nga ba talaga? Alam nyo, the world has set so many definitions for us. Successful ka kapag ganito ka. Magiging masaya ka kung ganito ka by this age. Fulfilled ka kapag sinunod mo tong sinasabi ng social media. Gaganda ang buhay mo kapag ginaya at ginawa mo lahat ng nakikita mo sa Instagram Reels mo. Or minsan naman, ang sinasabi ng mundo sa atin ay, wala ka talagang maiambag. Alam mo, wala talagang magmamahal sa'yo dahil sa mga ginawa mo. Wala kang magandang nagagawa. All these lines, these negative thoughts that keep conquering the way we look at ourselves. And a lot of times, itong mga lines na to that we keep hearing, heighten our vulnerabilities, our insecurities, and our feelings of uncertainties. And again, pumapasok ang kawalan ng lakas ng loob na maging kung sino talaga tayo. Friends, the key here is this. Do not focus on what the world tells you about yourself, but focus on the voice within your heart. And that voice that tells you that you are unique, you are loved, and you have a purpose. Una, you are unique. Wala kang katulad. You have an unrepeatable nature. You are a great wonder of God, capable of doing meaningful things. Marami kang regalo, and you can do so much with this giftedness as long as you are self-aware and you understand who you truly are. Pangalawa, you are loved. Minamahal ka at kamahal-mahal ka. You don't even have to try to conform to the world's standards just to be loved and be accepted. Dahil sa una pa lang, you are loved. The reason we exist is that we are a product of God's overflowing love, and nothing in this world can ever change that. Pangatlo, you have a purpose. Nandito ka para magmahal, magbigay. You are not made for yourself but to be a gift to others. The world teaches us to focus on what you can get out of it. But the truth is, you are a gift to the world because you can love and you are made to love. Again, ang susi dito ay focus. Reframe your mind, shifting your focus from the voice of the world to the voice within that reminds you of these beautiful truths about who you truly are. You are unique, you are loved, and you have a purpose. Yes, you are vulnerable. Yes, may insecurities ka. Yes, you are faced with uncertainties. Pero wag na wag mong kakalimutan itong tatlong bagay na ito. You are unique, you are loved, you have a purpose. Friend, this is who you are. Kung mayayakap natin ang katotohanan ito, we will regain the courage to be ourselves again. And life would be so much different for us. Alam nyo, one reality we face in life is that napakadaming ganap sa buhay. Ang daming stress, ang daming negativity, ang daming problema, worries about the future, anxiety about things we can't control, frustrations about how life doesn't go the way we expect it to be. At kadalasan, sa gitna ng lahat ng ganap na ito, nakakalimutan natin kung sino ba talaga tayo. We forget these truths na nabanggit ko. We tend to forget who we truly are. Ang nakikita lang natin ay yung vulnerability, insecurity, at uncertainty. Feeling natin hindi tayo kailangan. Pakiramdam natin walang nagmamahal sa atin o kaya hindi tayo kamahal-mahal. Sinasabi natin sa sarili natin na wala tayong silbi, wala tayong kwenta, wala tayong maibigay. We feel that we will never measure up, that we are never good enough. We forget who we are. Not only do we forget who we are, but we also end up getting diverted to other truths. We begin to believe in lies, that we are not important, na hindi ka kailangan, that you don't matter, na hindi ka mahalaga, that your feelings are not valid. Alam mo, nag-iinarte ka lang, that you are too weak to move forward. Ang hina mo at di mo talaga yan kaya. That we won't ever win over our problems. Ganyan na talaga at di mo kakayanin ang problema mo. That you are meant to be miserable. Malungkot na talaga yung buhay mo. Kinakain tayo ng mga problema natin, stresses natin, lungkot natin, at sumasabay ang maraming boses at mga lies na ito naririnig natin. And so, nalilimutan natin kung sino ba talaga tayo. At yung courage to be you, yung lakas ng loob na maging kung sino ka talaga, unti-unting nawawala, nagtatago, naduduwag. Alam niyo, nakaka-relate ako dito. Let me share a bit of my personal story to you. Right at this moment, my source of vulnerability, insecurity, and uncertainty is our difficulty to conceive a baby. My husband and I have been married for 5 years, and we have been long praying for a child of our own. This whole waiting season has not been at all easy. And then comes the feelings of pressure, not meeting the expectations of others, and all these that had at some point caused a toll on me. I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of doubts about myself, my worth. And a lot of times, when my vulnerabilities, insecurities, and uncertainties set in so hard, I get so scared. Natatakot akong harapin lahat ng ito. And I tend to just hide away. At may mga araw na ayoko na munang mag-show up kasi nakakapagod ng harapin yung bigat ng paghihintay. Minsan, sinasarili ko ang lahat ng emotions ko kasi feeling ko paulit-ulit na lang. Feeling ko petty na yung nararamdaman ko. Feeling ko nagsasawa na yung mga kinakwentuhan ko. Feeling ko hindi na valid. Pagkatapos ng lahat ng naranasan ko as a missionary, I still come to a point that I forget who I am. And in moments like this, when I forget who I am, because I get eaten up by my vulnerability, insecurities, and so much uncertainty, my focus gets diverted to what others say and what the world wants. But I realize that what's most important in this whole process is to focus on the voice of love within me. That voice that reminds me that I am loved and that this whole experience will bring out the good in me and in my marriage. That God has great plans for me, that His timing is perfect, and that He always hears me in my pain. Alam nyo, the moment I begin to shift my focus from the world to the voice within, I begin to regain my strength and courage. Nagkakaroon ulit ako ng lakas ng loob na harapin ang reality namin. Lakas ng loob to celebrate my present moment and to be grateful for what we have. Lakas ng loob at pag-asa na magtiwala sa magandang plano ni Lord para sa buhay namin mag-asawa. It's not easy to have the courage to be myself in this reality. But when I focus on the voice of love within, kinakaya ko. At lumalakas ang loob kong ipagpatuloy ang paghihintay at pagtitiwala. Like my story, I am sure a lot of you get defeated by the voices you hear. From the pressures of the world, from the expectations of others. And when you get defeated, you feel weak, unseen, unimportant, hopeless, irrelevant. And so we put on masks, we isolate ourselves, we hide from the world, we pretend to be strong in the outside, even if we have felt so weak and exhausted inside. We compare ourselves with others and we get frustrated at the life we have. We start hating ourselves, resenting our decisions, and for some of us, to the extreme, we end up getting depressed and anxious about so many things. At sa itsura ng reality na to, nauubos ang lakas ng loob natin, and we become too weak to show up. How many of us have found ourselves in this situation at one point or another? Ramdam kita. Hindi ito madali, pero hindi natatapos ang kwento dito. May paraan para magpatuloy. Again, we go back to what we have to do, to embrace who we are. And who are we? We are unique, we are loved, and we have a purpose. At this point of your life, do you still live by these truths? Alam mo pa ba to? O nakalimutan mo na to sa dami ng ganap ng buhay? If alam mo pa, keep reminding yourselves. If nalimutan mo na, thank you for coming here. Because today, we come together as one community, supporting each other and reminding each other of who we truly are. You are here for a purpose. And I want to remind you that deep inside you is the truth that you have the courage to be you. No matter how exhausted, defeated, or scared you are right now, there is the strength within you that no storm in life can defeat. There is courage deep within you that no problem, no hopelessness can ever take away from you. You are meant to live your life to the full, a life of love, a life of using your gifts, a life full of hope. And no matter how your story looks like right now, you are never too far from this kind of life. It's not yet the end of your story. Sabi nga sa song, the rest is still unwritten. There is so much more ahead of you and you can keep moving forward. I want to remind you that today, you can start again, try again, strive again, and have again that courage to be you. 3 reminders how to do this. First, celebrate the gift of who you are. Be grateful for who you are and what you have. Accept all that's within, strengths and weaknesses. Recognize your flaws and don't look at them as defeat, but see them as opportunities for growth. Let's be humble enough to embrace our imperfections and be grateful for these opportunities to be better each and every day. Remember, mahusay ka, marami kang kayanan, malakas ka, punong-puno ka ng pag-asa at pagmamahal. Keep reminding yourselves of this. Always celebrate the many strengths and gifts that you have. Make it a habit to be grateful for all the things you can do. Celebrate your gifts and share them to the world. To have the courage to be you is to celebrate who you are. Second, care for you. Take care of yourself, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Take time to refuel and recharge. Ang kotse di tatakbo pag wala ng gas. Ang cellphone di gagana kung walang battery. Tayo, mahihirapan tayo to move forward ng may lakas ng loob kung ubos na. So don't put yourself at the least on your list. Practice the pause every day. Make time for exercise and rest. Eat healthy. Make self-care a priority. Also, be kind to yourself. Huwag tayong masyadong harsh sa sarili natin. Huwag tayong masyadong hard sa sarili natin when we make mistakes. Pag nangyari to, let's learn from these and move forward again. Also, caring for yourself is sharing your vulnerability with someone you trust. Having someone accountable to you who can guide you, remind you, and carry you through as you journey in life. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to go to therapy if you feel that you need to. It is in being humble to ask for help can we regain our strength again. Personally, minsan pa-strong ako at ayokong humihingi ng tulong. But I realized that this pride is the reason bakit ako nahihirapan to be courageous to be me. To have the courage to be me is to have that courage to share my vulnerability, to ask for help, and to have someone journey with me. Care for yourself by letting others take care of you as well. That's my second point. To have the courage to be you is caring for yourself. Lastly, choose to show up. Again, you have a God-given purpose, a mission only you can fulfill. Go out and show up with that courage of bringing your true self out there. There is so much in you that is meant to be shared. Show up and share yourself. Share your story. Share your journey. Share your gifts. May the gift of you inspire others to be who they truly are. There will be hard days. Days when you just want to hide. These days are part of the story. Magpahinga, manahimik, rest if you must. But after that, move forward and show up again. Show up one step at a time. Keep showing up no matter what. The world needs you, and you can live out your life purpose, being courageously who you are if you choose to show up. To have the courage to be you is choosing to show up. Celebrate the gift of who you are, care for yourself, and choose to show up. 3 things you can do to have the courage to be you. Itong mga sinasabi ko, hindi madaling gawin. It's not at all easy to embrace and live out who you truly are when all you see are vulnerabilities, insecurities, and uncertainties. It's not easy to show up as you when life is full of problems, storms, defeats, and when you have to live it in a world full of pressure, distractions, and lies. But again, all of us here are reminded that there is courage deep within you to be truly you. Hindi ito nawala. Nandyan yun. There is courage deep within to share to the world how unique you are, how loved you are, and how meaningful your life purpose is. So let's live out this courage to be ourselves. For when you become you, you will be able to live a life of true happiness, and you will be able to make this world a better place. Deeply set in you is the courage to be authentic, the courage to show up, and the courage to live out your purpose. Do this by celebrating the gift of who you are, caring for yourself, and choosing to show up every single day. I know this sounds hard, but remember, you are not alone. You have people around you who trust you. You have a community like this who you can run to. You have people who accept you for who you are. Hindi ka mag-isa sa laban na ito. Kaya tayo ay magpatuloy. Lakasan natin ang ating loob na maging kung sino talaga tayo. Friends, maraming salamat sa pananatili. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig. Thank you for being here and thank you for being you. I pray that God gives you all the graces that you need to have that courage to be you. Thank you and God bless.